I planned a surprise rooftop proposal for her birthday with her whole family present. Well, I got on one knee. She said, "Are you serious? You ruined my birthday with your agenda." I stood up. "You're right, my mistake." Then I pocketed the ring, thanked her family for coming, and left. Her mother called me the next day, saying, "Original post. I, 32 male, have been with my girlfriend for 4 years. We met through mutual friends, moved in together after 18 months, and had talked about marriage multiple times. She'd sent me Pinterest boards of rings she liked. She'd mentioned wanting a meaningful proposal, not just some random Tuesday night on the couch. She told her friends she was ready and wondering what was taking me so long. So when her 30th birthday came around, I thought, this is it. This is the moment. I spent 3 months planning, rented out a rooftop event space at a nice hotel downtown, coordinated with her parents, her sister, her brother-in-law, her grandmother, her best friend from college, and about 20 other people she loved. Hired a photographer to capture the moment. Ordered a custom cake with our initials. Bought the ring, a 1.8 carat oval-cut diamond in a platinum setting, exactly like the one she'd pinned. Cost me $14,500. I've been saving for 2 years. Everyone was in on it. The plan was simple. She thought we were going to a small dinner for her birthday with just her parents and sister. When we got to the rooftop, everyone would be there, surprise party style. After an hour of celebrating, I'd give a toast, get down on one knee, and ask her to marry me in front of everyone who mattered to her. I thought it was perfect. I thought she'd love it. The night started great. She was excited about the dinner, wore a beautiful dress, kept talking about how she couldn't believe she was turning 30. When we got to the hotel and I led her toward the elevator, she didn't suspect a thing. The doors opened to the rooftop. Everyone yelled surprise. Her face lit up. She screamed, hugged her mom, hugged her sister, went around thanking everyone. She was genuinely happy. I watched her from across the space, feeling proud of what I'd put together. An hour in, the photographer gave me the signal. It was time. I clinked my glass and got everyone's attention. Gave a short speech about how much she meant to me, how the past 4 years have been the best of my life, how I couldn't imagine my future without her. Her mom was already crying. Her grandmother was beaming. Her best friend had her phone out, ready to record. I got down on one knee. "Will you marry me?" Silence. Not the good kind. The kind where everyone holds their breath. She stared at me. Her expression shifted from surprise to something else. Something harder. "Are you serious right now?" I blinked. "What? You did this here? On my birthday?" In front of everyone. I was still on one knee, ring box open, heart starting to sink. I thought. You thought what? That you'd hijack my birthday for your agenda? This was supposed to be MY night. My celebration. And you made it about you. The room was dead silent. I could see her mom's face going from happy tears to confusion to mortification. I didn't. I wanted to make it special. Special? You couldn't let me have one night that wasn't about what you wanted. You had to make yourself the center of attention. This is so typical. I stayed there for a few more seconds, ring still out, trying to process what was happening. Then something in me just clicked. I stood up, closed the ring box, slipped it back into my jacket pocket. "You're right. My mistake." She seemed surprised by how calm I was. "What?" I said, "You're right. I shouldn't have done this on your birthday. That was wrong of me." I turned to face the crowd, her family, her friends, all standing there in shocked silence. "Thank you all for coming. I'm sorry for the confusion. Please enjoy the rest of the party." Then I walked past her mom, past everyone, and got on the elevator. The doors closed. I went down to the lobby, walked out of the hotel, and drove home. I didn't cry. I didn't yell. I just drove in silence, thinking about the last 4 years and everything I'd apparently misunderstood. When I got home, I sat on the couch for about 2 hours, staring at the ring box. Then I put it in my sock drawer and went to bed. My phone had been blowing up since I left the rooftop. Texts from her friends, her family, her. I didn't read any of them. I just put it on Do Not Disturb and slept. The next morning, I had 52 unread messages and 19 missed calls. Most of them from her. A few from her sister. One from her dad. Then her mom called again. This time, I answered. Her mom. I don't even know where to start. I'm so sorry about last night. Me, you don't need to apologize. You didn't do anything. Her mom, what she said to you in front of everyone, that was unacceptable. Her father and I are mortified. Me, I appreciate that. Her mom, she's been crying all night. She wants to talk to you. She says she didn't mean it, that she was overwhelmed, that it all happened so fast. Me, I'm sure she's upset, but I'm not ready to talk to her right now. Long pause. Her mom, I understand. But please, don't make any permanent decisions based on one bad moment. She loves you. I know she does. Me, she might. But she also humiliated me in front of everyone I'd invited to celebrate her. That's not something I can just forget. Her mom didn't have a response to that. I spent the rest of the day ignoring my phone and trying to figure out what to do next. The lease on our apartment is in both our names. Most of the furniture is mine. The logistics were going to be complicated. But I knew one thing for certain. I wasn't marrying someone who could treat me like that in front of my future in-laws and feel entitled to do so. We'll update when there's more to tell. Update 1, 5 days later. So it's been almost a week, and things have gotten complicated. First, let me address some questions from the comments. No, this wasn't a pattern of behavior I'd ignored. She could be demanding sometimes, sure, but nothing like what happened on that rooftop. I genuinely didn't see it coming. And yes, I've been staying at my buddy's place since that night. I went back to the apartment once, while she was at work, to grab some essentials. Now, here's what's happened since my last post. The day after the proposal disaster, she showed up at my friend's door. She knew I'd been staying there because she tracked my phone location. Yeah, she tracked me. My buddy answered and told her I didn't want to see her. She started crying in the hallway, saying she needed to explain that she'd made a mistake, that she was sorry. He kept the door closed, and eventually she left. That night, she sent me a long text. I'll paraphrase the key points. I know I messed up. I was overwhelmed. I'd had a lot of champagne. I didn't expect it, and I panicked. You have to understand, I've been planning my birthday for weeks, and suddenly it wasn't about me anymore. I felt ambushed. I know I said things I shouldn't have, but you have to see it from my perspective. Notice what's missing? An actual apology. No, I'm sorry for humiliating you. No, I was wrong to react that way. Just explanations for why her reaction was justified. I didn't respond. 2 days later, her sister reached out. She'd always been reasonable, so I actually took the call. Her sister, hey, I know things are bad right now, but I wanted to check in on you. Me, I appreciate that. Her sister, for what it's worth, the whole family is on your side. What she did was horrible. My mom hasn't stopped talking about how embarrassed she is. Me, that means a lot, honestly. Her sister, she's telling everyone a different version of what happened, saying you sprung it on her without warning and didn't consider her feelings. She's making it sound like you ambushed her. Me, I planned it for 3 months with her entire family. Her mom helped me pick the venue. Her sister, I know. I was there when you called to coordinate. That's why this is so frustrating. She's rewriting history, and some people are actually believing her. Me, what people? Her sister, her work friends, some of her college friends who weren't at the party. People who only have her side of the story. Great. So not only did she humiliate me publicly, now she was spinning a narrative that made me the bad guy. I thanked her sister for the heads up and decided I needed to get ahead of this. I didn't make a public post or anything dramatic, but I did start having honest conversations with the people who mattered. Where her best friend from college, who had been there and recorded the whole thing on her phone, reached out to ask what happened, I told her the truth. When my own friends asked, I told them the truth. When her dad called to apologize on behalf of the family, I thanked him and confirmed what actually occurred. The video that her friend recorded, apparently it got shared in their friend group. Multiple people saw exactly how she'd reacted. The disgust in her voice, the way she called it my birthday, like I was a crasher at my own proposal. By day 4, the narrative started shifting. People who'd initially heard her version were getting the full picture. Her own friends started distancing themselves. And then she tried a new tactic. She showed up at my workplace. I'm an engineer at a manufacturing company. She knows the address, knows my schedule, knows where I park. She was waiting by my car at the end of my shift. We need to talk. You can't just ignore me forever. Me, I'm not ignoring you. I'm processing. Her processing what? I made a mistake. I've apologized 100 times. Me, you've explained yourself 100 times. That's not the same as apologizing. Her, what do you want me to say? I'm sorry, okay? I'm sorry I reacted badly. But you have to understand. Me, no. I don't have to understand. You humiliated me in front of everyone who was supposed to become our family. You call my proposal my agenda. You made me feel like asking you to marry me was an inconvenience. Her, that's not what I meant. Me, that's exactly what you meant. You meant that your birthday, a birthday I'd spent 3 months and thousands of dollars celebrating, was more important than our future together. And you said it in front of everyone. She started crying. So that's it? For years, and you're going to throw it all away over one bad moment. Me, you threw it away. Not me. I'm just accepting that it's gone. I got in my car and drove off. She was still standing in the parking lot when I looked in my rearview mirror. The next day, I contacted a lawyer about the apartment lease. It's going to be messy. Both our names are on it, and we have 8 months left on the term. But I'd rather pay the penalty to break it than live with her again. I've also started the process of returning the ring. The jeweler I bought it from has a return policy that gives me store credit minus a restocking fee. I'll lose about $2,000, but honestly, that's a small price for clarity. More updates to come as this unfolds. Update 2, 12 days after original post. Things have gotten worse for her and better for me. Let me break it down. First, the apartment situation resolved faster than I expected. I offered to pay the early termination fee myself, about $3,400, if she agreed to sign off on breaking the lease cleanly. She initially refused, saying she couldn't afford to move out on such short notice and that I was being unreasonable. So I made her a counteroffer. I would move out and she could keep the apartment for the remaining 8 months of the lease. But she'd have to take over full rent payments, which she couldn't afford on her own. She tried to get me to stay on the lease while she stayed in the apartment, basically wanting me to subsidize her housing while we weren't even together. I said no. She called me petty and vindictive. Eventually, her dad stepped in. He agreed to cover 3 months of rent while she figured out her situation, and she signed off on removing my name from the lease. I moved my stuff out last weekend with help from my brother. She wasn't there. Her sister told her to make herself scarce, so it wouldn't turn into a confrontation. The furniture I took was mine, stuff I'd bought before we moved in together or paid for entirely during the relationship. I left her the couch, she'd paid half, and the kitchen table, a gift from her parents. Fair is fair. Now, here's where things got interesting. Her friend group has basically fractured. The video of the proposal, the one her college friend recorded, got shared more widely than I expected. Not publicly, but within their extended circle. People saw exactly how she'd reacted. The tone, the contempt, the way she called it my night and your agenda. Some of her friends defended her, said she was overwhelmed and didn't mean it. But others watched that video and saw something they couldn't unsee. Her best friend, the one who recorded it, apparently had a confrontation with her about it. Told her that what she'd done was cruel and that she'd watched a man's heart break in real time. My ex apparently responded by saying her friend was taking his side and that she felt betrayed by everyone. They haven't spoken since. Meanwhile, her family has been remarkably decent to me. Her mom sent me a long message apologizing again and saying she'd raise her daughter to be better than that. Her dad called to say he hoped I'd find someone who appreciated me. Her sister has checked in twice to make sure I'm okay. They all still love her. She's family, but they're not defending what she did. And she's noticed. According to her sister, she's been complaining that her own family is siding with the ex and that it feels like everyone has abandoned her. She tried one more time to get me back. Showed up at my buddy's place again. Yes, she tracked my location again and basically demanded I give her another chance. Her, you owe me a conversation. You can't just walk away from 4 years without even trying to work through it. Me, I don't owe you anything. And I'm not walking away without trying. I tried for 4 years. I planned a proposal that I thought would make you happy. You responded by telling me I'd ruined your birthday. Her, I said I was sorry. Me, no. You said you were overwhelmed. You said I should understand your perspective. You said it wasn't your fault because you'd had champagne. That's not an apology. That's a list of excuses. Her, so what do you want? You want me to grovel? You want me to beg? Me, I want you to understand that what you did was wrong. Not understandable given the circumstances. Not a mistake anyone could make. Wrong. Cruel. Humiliating. And until you can say that without a but attached, there's nothing to talk about. She stared at me for a long moment. Then, she said, "You're really going to throw away everything we had over your ego?" My ego. My ego. I got on one knee in front of 30 people, been publicly rejected, and somehow this was about my ego. Me, we're done here. I went back inside. She stood there for about 5 minutes before driving away. That was 3 days ago. Since then, I've blocked her number. Not because I'm afraid of what she'll say, but because there's nothing left to say. The ring is officially returned. Got $12,200 in store credit after the restocking fee. I'm probably going to use it to buy my mom something nice for her birthday next month. She's been incredibly supportive through all of this. Brought me meals, checked in daily, didn't say I told you so even once. My ex is apparently telling people I abandoned her and couldn't handle a strong woman. Her version of events has become more exaggerated over time. Now she claims I barely gave her time to react and that I stormed off like a child when she tried to have a conversation. I don't engage with any of it. The people who matter know the truth. The people who believe her version weren't going to believe me anyway. Final update, 19 days after original post. This is my last update because the situation has more or less resolved and I'm ready to close this chapter. Let me catch you up on the final developments. The fallout in her personal life has been significant. Not because I orchestrated anything. I genuinely didn't, but because the truth has a way of spreading on its own. Her friend group remains fractured. From what I've heard through her sister, who's been surprisingly forthcoming, about half of her close friends have distanced themselves. The other half are sticking by her, but even they've been careful about what they say publicly. Nobody wants to be associated with the girl who rejected a proposal by calling it an agenda. Her work situation got complicated too. She works in marketing at a mid-sized firm. Apparently, one of her coworkers was also at the party, a woman who'd been invited through a mutual connection. That coworker told other people at the office what happened. Not maliciously, just the way people talk. Now there are people at her job who look at her differently. Not discrimination or anything actionable, just a subtle shift that happens when people learn something unflattering about you. She's complained to her sister that even work isn't safe anymore. Her family situation is strained but stable. Her parents still love her, obviously. They're not going to disown their daughter over a bad reaction at a party. But there's a distance now that wasn't there before. Her mom told her sister that she doesn't recognize the person who said those things and that she hopes therapy helps. Yeah, she started seeing a therapist. According to her sister, it was suggested by her mom after the incident. I genuinely hope it helps her. Not because I want her back. I don't, but because whatever made her react like that is something she needs to address for her own sake. Her sister called me one last time, about a week ago. Her sister, I wanted to let you know, she's moving. Found a job in another state. Decided she needs a fresh start. Me, that's probably good for her. Her sister, I think so too. She's been struggling here. Too many reminders. Me, I hope she figures things out. Her sister, do you mean that? Me, yeah, actually, I'm angry at her. Probably always will be a little, but I don't wish her a bad life. I just couldn't be part of it anymore. Her sister, for what it's worth, she still doesn't fully get it. She told me last week that you overreacted to a moment of stress and that she deserved a second chance. No real accountability. Just victim mentality. Me, that's her journey, I guess. Her sister, I suppose. Anyway, I wanted to say goodbye. Thank you for being decent through all of this. A lot of guys would have dragged her through the mud publicly. Me, I thought about it. Decided it wasn't worth the energy. Her sister, well, I appreciate it. My family appreciates it. Take care of yourself. That was the last conversation I had with anyone from her side. As for me, I'm doing okay. Not great, but okay. 4 years is a long time to spend with someone. And even when it ends badly, you don't just switch off the feelings overnight. There are moments when I miss her, or more accurately, miss who I thought she was. The version of her that would have said yes with tears in her eyes and hugged me in front of everyone. That person didn't exist, apparently. But the version I'd imagined was real enough in my head. I've started seeing a therapist too. Not because I'm falling apart, but because I want to understand why I didn't see this coming. Why I spent 4 years with someone without recognizing what she was capable of. What blind spots I have that let me miss the signs. My therapist says I'm too hard on myself. That narcissistic traits can be well hidden until stress reveals them. That the proposal was a stress test and she failed it spectacularly. It's a helpful framing, even if it doesn't make me feel totally absolved. The store credit from the ring? I ended up using part of it to buy my mom a nice bracelet for her birthday. She cried when I gave it to her, happy tears. She said it was too much, that I should save the money for myself. I told her she'd earned it by raising a son who knew when to walk away from a bad situation. The rest of the credit is sitting there. Maybe I'll use it someday. Maybe I won't. Right now, engagement rings aren't really on my radar. I've moved into my own place. Small one-bedroom apartment, decent neighborhood, quiet. It's the first time in almost 3 years I've lived alone, and honestly, it's nice. I can leave dishes in the sink without someone commenting on it. I can watch whatever I want without negotiating. I can just exist without being evaluated. Some nights I think about what would have happened if she'd said yes. We'd be planning a wedding right now, booking venues, picking colors, sending save the dates, building toward a future that would have been built on a foundation I now know was cracked. I dodged a bullet, a $14,500 bullet that cost me 4 years and a lot of pain, but a bullet nonetheless. She wanted her birthday to be about her. She got her wish. It was entirely about her, in the worst possible way. Every person at that party will remember it as the night she publicly humiliated someone who loved her. Every person in her life now knows what she's capable of under pressure. That's not revenge. That's just consequence. I didn't destroy her reputation. She did that herself, in front of 30 witnesses and a camera. I didn't turn her family against her. They were there. They saw. I didn't make her lose friends or struggle at work or need to move away for a fresh start. Those were all natural results of her own behavior catching up with her. All I did was stand up, pocket the ring, thank her family for coming, and leave. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is walk away with dignity. She called it my agenda. Turns out, my agenda was pretty simple. Propose to the woman I loved and hope she said yes. She said no, in the cruelest way possible. I accepted her answer and moved on. That's not vindictive. That's just self-respect. Thanks for following along, everyone. I'm going to close this chapter now. Time to start building something new.